All right, well, let's go ahead and get into the West, man, because the West always seems like it has been the best, even though Boston did win it last year. The West has
Man,
just
that
been
was a
so damn.
bar. No, hold on. Say that again. Put that back. Run that back, GJ. Run
Remix.
that back.
No, it's the West is the best, man. So but yeah, man, yeah, OKC sitting on top at 44-10. Memphis. How about Memphis out there now? Got 38 and 36 and 18. That's a kind of a shocker in here. And Denver, I think always kind of just hangs out in that two or three seed. Like no matter what, they might make a run and make to the 1 seed, but Denver, that's like their permanent landing spot. But I have to say, the biggest surprise for me out of the West is Houston, man. Houston is a young squad, and they are playing hungry, man. They're playing hard. They're right on the heels of taking the third or possibly the second seed in the West. And my Mavs are just completely decimated on injury. They might possibly get a one starter back at some point in time this year, and it's just going back to that Luka trade, man. Like it's just been a crazy year for Dallas, man. But I will say this one, and I did find this, and I'm not saying by any stretch that the Mavs had it right, but did you see what happened last night? Luka had 6 turnovers and had one of the worst shooting performances of his career. And on top of it, too, he came out afterwards like, oh, I'm a little rusty. It's going to take some time, which is exactly why Dallas got rid of them, was apparently the conditioning factor. And they also have been coming out with a lot of stuff, and I think like Dallas is just kind of putting a bad name on Luka because they don't want to seem like idiots for getting rid of him. But they were also coming out saying that they had no intention on giving him that max super deal, which I'm like, I doubt that was actually true. And on top of it, too, there was another report coming out saying that he was supposed to miss 5 games in November to go get in shape because he was that out of shape. I think it's just Dallas is trying to make themselves look a little bit better for getting rid of one of the best young talents the NBA's seen in a long time. But if not, maybe they really did know something that we didn't know, and maybe it was a lot worse than we thought. I still would have loved to keep Luka. I would have never traded him, but maybe there was more to it. And Dallas is, I think, if they can get a little bit healthy, they might possibly be able to make the play-in. But at this point in time, I'm almost kind of like what we were saying before about De'Aaron Fox and the Spurs. Maybe just shut it down for the rest of the year, man. There's only 27 games left, or 25 games, give or take. And the only one healthy seems like right now is Kyrie. And if Kyrie's your only healthy player and reliable guy, you might got some problems going on there. But
yeah, and I will say as well with regards to Luka, though, shipping him to LA is going to be one of the best things for him, because now if there is issues with his conditioning, you've got the guy that's been basically the poster child for conditioning, cardio, efficiency. Dude's on his 21st year now. He's probably going to play 22, maybe even 23.
Yeah.
Like, it would not surprise me at all. That man spends like $2 million a year taking care of his body. So, like, who better to learn from than the
someone else? I had that same conversation with a buddy of mine at work as well, and that's exactly what he said too. Is that Luka's in the best spot because if let's say has an off year this year because of the actual injury and he was a little bit out of shape. This summer, if he plays hungry, gets hungry, and doesn't eat, but you get what I mean, hungry for basketball, and LeBron's people, if not LeBron James, takes him under his wing, be like, look, this is how it's done. Then that's going to be one scary individual coming into next year. But before we get your thoughts on this real quick, USA did just score. Now it is officially 2-1. USA on top, middle of the second period. All right, G. Mike, man,
maple syrup there and shove it.
What's your thoughts on the West, Mr. G. Mike?
Dude, man, I think the West is wide open. I don't think there's really a team that can solidify right now getting to the NBA Finals, even though OKC has been playing outstanding, one of the best defensive teams in the league, and one of the best offensive teams in the league as well. But mainly more on defense, but even then, they're a young team, so it's hard for me to really put my money on them to come out the West because you don't know what you're going to get from them when it comes to a 7-game series against some teams that are more experienced, like the Denver Nuggets, like if the Dallas Mavericks actually get into the playoffs, that would be a tough round for them as well. It wouldn't be easy. The Minnesota Timberwolves too. And even another dark horse for me would be the Golden State Warriors. Adding Jimmy Butler is just going to bring another aspect to their team. I wouldn't be surprised if Golden State goes on a 10-game win streak in the last half of the season. So it's like, I want to see what OKC can do with these teams. Not saying that they can't make the NBA Finals, because I do believe they can. I wouldn't put my money on them so quick. I do believe that the West is open. We were talking on the Lakers right now. Yes, it was a good move to get Luka. Is going to help out their offense. but their defense has depleted a lot, and which is why I'm worried about them. They could probably fall in from the 5th seed and probably end up in the play-in because it's so close from 4 to 10. Basically, it's all close right there. So if they keep losing games because they can't close out games because of their defense, like they did last night to the Hornets, it's going to be tough for them to get out of the play-in and try to get into the 6th seed or higher. I do like the Houston Rockets. They're a great young team. They hustle. They play hard, just like the Detroit Pistons on the other side. And they can do some work, but it's going to be tough for them because they're very inexperienced. The only one there that is experienced and is a champion is Fred VanVleet. And I don't think that he could hold the throne really like that for this season. Maybe next season or the year after that, if they stay together and they keep playing the way that they're playing, maybe they can make some runs. But I see them getting out of the first round. So for me, with the West, I think it's open. I think the top 3 teams that can actually make the NBA Finals would be OKC, the Denver Nuggets, and if the Mavericks are able to get into the playoffs, I would say them as well.
BC, man, your thoughts on the West, buddy?
And if Anthony Davis stays healthy, that's another thing. If he stays healthy, if
well, we got a report today that Dallas got a report today that he's moving in the right direction, so we might be able to see him in another 3 weeks. So super. Those 31 minutes was amazing for us, though. I can tell you that. So I'm super glad we got it.
Was amazing.
We got that whole experience in 31 minutes of AD.
Bro, he almost had a triple-double in the first quarter. It's crazy.
Yeah. Hey, at least it's longer than the Jets had Rodgers last year. So just saying, man.
Yeah, true.
3 plays in, boom. As far as the West goes, though, like I agree with you, Mike. It's wide open for me. I know we talked a lot about OKC's like their lack of experience. I know that obviously you got some, experienced vets for sure with Denver, with Golden State. But I think I think Oklahoma City has learned enough from last year, and I think that they have continued to develop and grow together as a team. Again, number 1 defense in the league right now, and that is something that I think will help them in the playoffs. As the game slow down, as it gets more grinded out, that's going to be something that plays in their favor. And I think, again, they're one of the top offenses in the league to pair with that. So I think that and the lessons they learned last year will be enough to carry them over in the playoffs. It's going to be a dogfight. It's not going to be like they go like the 0-1 Lakers and go 15-1, but I definitely see them making a pass, winning some hard-fought series for sure. And I think it's their conference this year, and I think that they make it to the finals and represent the West.
Yeah, I think Houston's like a year, maybe 2 away. So I think it's a great story, and they're playing hard and they're playing well. I kind of can see them maybe falling to like the 6th seed or something like that, come that playoff stretch. But Houston is definitely playing impressive. We can we all can pick one if you want. I'm glad you brought it up, G-Mike, because that was a team I was thinking of as well as like a dark horse that also make one of those crazy playoff runs as Golden State. I think that Jimmy Butler trade is going to work out pretty well for them. Him and Draymond, I was kind of wondering how that was going to work. Doesn't seem like it's missed a beat at all. They're embracing each other. And Steph has finally got somebody that doesn't play exactly like him. And Steph was saying that it's almost re-energizing to have a player that's not a replica of him, because when they had Steph and Clay, it was you shoot the 3, I shoot the 3, you shoot the 3, I shoot the 3, whoever's going to take the shot. This is something completely different that he's never really had in his entire career and Golden State. So he's excited. And so I think that's a team that I wouldn't want to play if they make that play-in tournament. I think they're going to go on a little bit of a run here. They have the same record as the Kings right now, so they can possibly move up to the 9 seed. They're not too far behind Minnesota. I could definitely see them making a run and possibly landing in that 5th seed, 6th seed. And if they can get something like that, they might be a team to watch out for. I don't think that they are the favorites to win the finals. I do believe in OKC. SGA is such a smooth player, and I just like the way they're constructed. I think they got a lot of really good players that they all blend together and they work really well together. They are ironically almost getting at the point though, as the old OKC, that if it doesn't work again this year, they gotta figure something out, because they've stockpiled, and at one point in time you got to start executing with these ones. And if they've had almost just like how OKC was before, have all this great talent, all these great players, and for some reason this can't get over that top. So I think their window is I'm not going to say closing because they have young talent, but you can only keep these core guys together for so long, and without winning something, they have to maybe blow something up. So I think it's going to be OKC that'll most likely end up representing the West in the finals. But I would be very scared to have to go against Golden State or even Denver. Denver, just like I was saying before, Denver just seems like one of those teams, they don't even want to be number one. They just want to grind it out, and then they
get in. All you got to
just
do is
get
get in.
will beat you up, and I definitely like Denver as well. They did start off a little bit shaky this season and have seemed like they've just worked it out and gotten it together as well. And Jokic is just that dude. And I love Jamal Murray as well, man.